Yeah, so let me first introduce you to Pushkar. So Pushkar graduated from IIT Bombay Mechanical Department in 2013, and he's the co-founder and CTO of the startup Carnot Technologies, and it is basically 5-year-old agri-tech startup. And their goal is to transform the way agriculture industry uh, in the developing nations like India. So that is the goal of the startup, and yeah, he is here today with us to tell his story from IITB, from how he worked on technical projects at IITB to how he converted it to the startup, and the progress, to tell more about it. Yeah, so over to you, Pushkar.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Tejas, for the kind introduction. And hello, everyone. Pushkar this side. So let me tell you quick thoughts about this session from my perspective. Okay, I'm not too old, although I look at my title says 2013 pass out. It just feels like just a few years back I was in IIT, and I think when I was invited for this session, I had two specific things in mind. Number one, I think back in IIT, I always wondered whether I can, hear about stories of alumni who I respected or who I look forward to, become like one, or it's anyone who has an interesting story. So I always used to look for such stories and forums to meet such people and hear them out. Number one. Secondly, there were a bunch of things around whole startup thing, right? It is not really put across in the right way in IIT, at least in the student education time is what I strongly feel. Some things are over glorified, some things are under glorified, and I wish there were few things that someone had told me when I was back there and I was sitting across in the same position as you guys are, right? So in this session, I have certain agendas and there is certain flow to which I'm sticking, but there are 2 points that I am trying to target. If I was sitting in this session as a one of the student, what will I hear to, what will I be more interested in, what will I enjoy listening to. And of course there are certain inputs given by Tejas as to what the students are expecting and what you guys are expecting. So I tried to shape it up accordingly. So that's a broad way or agenda in which I'm planning to run this session. But let's keep it very informal. The success of this session should be two ways. One way is I putting up some thought and getting it structured or getting it streamlined towards making something. And second point is you guys asking the right question. You guys asking the right things, right? So let's keep a good time and let's try and make it interactive rather than just another boring lecture. Okay. Awesome. So Tejas, I'll move on to the presentation in that case.
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. So this is the agenda. I'm going to split it in three parts. First part is the story of Carnot so far. Of course, journey is more important than the destination. Many times we hear about the end outcomes, right? For example, right now, you must have noticed when they just introduced me, all you heard were the end outcomes. I passed out from IIT Bombay 2013. I have a 5-year-old startup. I am doing a startup in agri-tech, etc., etc. So, but these are all end outcomes, and I feel end outcomes can teach you X, but the journey to end outcomes can always teach you 10X. So, let me take you through that journey. Second thing is specifically about building a tech startup. Learnings I wish someone had told me at the start. I feel Carnot is little unique in the way that we are different than most of the companies out there for the kind of products and kind of things that we are building. It's not just another app, or although it is a commendable thing to do, even to build a simple app that caters to millions. It's slightly different where we are targeting and talking about catering farmers, building hardware products, building precision farming systems, or building softwares which are farmer facing. So it's a core tech product, and I think there are some different caveats associated with building a tech startup compared to building just some other startup, right? And the third part is Q&A. More than happy to take questions from your side. Please make sure you don't ask really tough ones. Okay, perfect. So a quick intro from my side, as they just slightly mentioned some of these points, but I passed out MechBTech 2013. To say IIT Bombay, IIT Bombay journey in one word, I think it is IIT Bombay Racing. So shout out to anyone in the audience if they are from IIT Bombay Racing team. Hey guys, wish you luck. And I was personally part of Evo 1 and Evo 2 core team. So right now that IIT Bombay Racing builds electric race car, and races them in Silverstone racetrack. So, I was the one who was responsible for the entire electrical system in the first and second car that we built. And it is always 10x difficult to do so in the first and second car we built compared to, any other car we built is I firmly believe. And I think we were the worst. Evo 1 was probably the worst performing car in IIT Bombay Racing's history. And I think that that is the reason that Carnot exists today. So I'll come to it in a bit. After IIT, in IIT, I also started Technovision, did a project called Bookkeeping Robot, which kind of kickstarted, and I understand that it's still going on in some way or other. Not the Bookkeeping Robot project, but the Technovision initiative as such. And although it's a small thing, I do take certain attachment or pride in saying that, we were the first bunch of people who started Technovision in IIT. After IIT, I worked in Schlumberger, for 4-5 months. Nothing much exciting to describe about that journey. But after that, I made a good decision where I worked in an early stage startup for a couple of years after IIT before I eventually started Carnot in 2015. Now, in the early stage startup that I worked, I almost learned all the things that one should not do in a startup. But I feel that is perfect. Either I should have learned all that should be done, or I should have learned all that should not be done. I unfortunately learned the second side, but I believe they were more useful than just seeing the ideal picture of a startup, right? And where we are in terms of Carnot is Series B funded. So to say, there are 3 rounds of investment that have happened in Carnot. We have so far sold around 35 CR worth of revenue, worth the electronic kits or worth softwares, etc. And we are backed by Mahindra and Mahindra as a strategic investor. So we work very, very closely with Mahindra, and hence the Agritech angle. But then there is a certain story with which we arrived there. Okay, perfect. And at any point of time, Tejas, if my screen is not switching or screen is getting froze, etc., please let me know. Okay. Awesome. So coming back, awesome. So coming back to who are we? We are actually, although I represent Carnot here, we are 3 IIT Bombay alumni. One of them from 2012 batch, and one my wingmate, and my co-founder from my batch itself. So 3 of us started this. And at the bottom that you see is the Evo 2 race car. So the car that had my heart and soul attached to it in terms of the amounts of effort that I had put into building this car. And something happened while building this car in Silverstone, which I'll come to a bit, and that has resulted in building Carnot. Again, I'm mentioning it because it has certain importance. But simply put, at Carnot, we are driven by the vision of building a product company par global standards in terms of design and function from India. What I mean to say is, it's not just about kuch to banate hai. We chose to stay back in India. We chose to try a hardware startup or tech startup based in India for a certain reason, because we wanted to be very specific about getting things right over here rather than winning about India में chance नहीं मिलता, यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है, Valley में कितना cool है. Well, that is true. I think we have gone ahead and gave our honest attempt at making this happen. So that's who we are, right? Now talking about Carnot, what has Carnot done, right? Very simply put, the numbers that you see, this is a one-page summary that kind of tells you what has Carnot done in last 5 years. So Carnot is a tech startup. We build hardware as well as software. We build everything. Like we build physical devices as well as we build softwares, as well as we build any internal systems, cloud systems, etc. But we have 50,000 IoT kits right now live in the field as we speak. What I mean is there are 50,000 devices, including cars, bikes, tractors, and trucks, etc., which are connected via Carnot system in the through our cloud, and we are getting almost 35 GB plus data from these units every single day. Right? We have 8 patents, all very strong tech patents filed for these things, and there is an interesting story about one of these patents which kind of led to a pivot in Carnot story. I'll come to in a bit. We are totally built 5 tech products so far, and one of the most important things, I feel, one of the most important identity kind of thing that I always mention about Carnot is for the last 3 years we have been cash flow positive. So what I mean is, while we are raising an investment, even in the lack of we are overall cash flow positive, where the company is paying itself for the money that it is making, and it's net profitable. I think in Insta thoda sa matlab these terms are little bouncers, I understand, but simply put, when you raise investment and you build a startup, it is against a certain plan, and the plan is to finally make more money, right? Make more money out of whatever is being invested. And fortunately, within 3 years only, we achieved that state where the cash flows are positive and the company is now making or increasing the invested money into more money, right? And that's what the point of a startup is. And our customers have some shiny names. You see a list of them over here. We have worked with all of them in some form and shape. And we have three specific investors, Mahindra being the most important strategic investor. There is Whiteboard Capital, simply put Kunal Shah from Cred, if you guys have heard about him. And then there is Qualcomm, which basically invested for a specific innovation grant or specific patent for us. Right? Perfect. So let's start about my Carnot journey in very specific way, right? Look at this image to the right. This image is from Evo 2 days, and this is a launch event. In IIT Bombay Racing, we always have a product launch towards end of the year where we call media people. Insta में articles आते हैं, news में articles आते हैं कि लोगों ने कार बनाई, etc., etc. And basically, we gather a lot of publicity, right? But and there the guy in the cap, trying to debug something in the car is me, because the car had shut down in the middle of a demo because of some battery management system issues. So although this thing is from from the launch event, what happened is in in the actual race in Silverstone racetrack in UK, the exact same error got replicated, and we basically couldn't finish the race completely. We were the first team in Asia to qualify. We were the first team in Asia to actually get all clearances to race in the race in the competition. We finished few of the very critical milestones along the way, and it was just a matter of finishing up to the finish line, which did not happen because of some technical bug, right? And this kind of had a broken bench moment, I'll say, right? So I'll just read up what you see from a paragraph, right? Walt Disney once sat on a dirty broken bench near a merry-go-round, and he basically had a pathetic experience, and he thought of can I create a Disneyland, a clean theme park with plenty of bathroom, children and parent-friendly rides, everything designed to make it easier for families to enjoy a day together, right? How does that relate to Carnot? Now, what happened is, while the Evo 2 car really struggled to make it through, trust me, in front of me in the pit lane, there were cars from ETA Zurich or TU Delft and likes of, the AMZ Racing or TU Graz, for example, from Europe, which are like the topmost cars in their specific countries or their specific regions. And I was amazed at the quality of product that I was seeing. These people were having a telematic system and tuning their cars over wireless systems while we were struggling to get our BMS programmed. These people had dedicated set of people just to set up tents, just to keep it clean. They had systems for everything. It was almost like a very neatly arranged engineering problem, or very neatly solved engineering problem, not just on technical front, on business front, on organization, operational front, everything, right? And there I was kind of heartbroken, right? This cannot happen. Like, how come there is so huge a gap between what we do and what I'm seeing right in front of me, with the students similar to my age, people similar to my age, my experience, but just from different countries, from different culture? How come they are building things so better looking than us, right? And it was literally a heartbreaking moment. And I'll say, in that moment in Silverstone is when we really decided, three of us really decided that, we do need to build some kind of product company in India, which should make us proud. If in a small way, we did not have a dream of, chalo, matlab, let's build $1 billion unicorn or something, very frankly. But it was a simple thing ki, we need to have something built out of India, which is at par with global standards. So that was a broken bench moment. And this is where it all began. Okay. So how did we begin? Simple था. Car जो हमारा Formula Student car था, उसमें there were a lot of telematic systems which I had built. Simply put, when the car is racing in the racetracks, there were some sensors connected to the car. There was some telemetry system connected to the car, and we used to get data of that car from car to pit stop on my laptop, right? Where we used to analyze it and decide iska kya karna hai, what is the problem, am I seeing some error, do I need to rectify something, etc., etc. Now come to the real world. in real world, basically me and my co-founder Rohan, we worked in a Hyundai showroom for a couple of days as a salesman, just white plain shirt and trousers, and nothing, no identity, no IIT, nothing. We just stood there like a normal salesman, and we spoke with a lot of people buying new cars. And what we realize is, even after so many years, what's being pitched in while buying a new car is things like wooden interiors, Bluetooth connectivity, good leather seats, and things like that, which wasn't making sense to me. And why it wasn't making sense to me is, look at it, right? Phones evolved to smartphones, laptops look completely different with the MacBooks and touchscreens, touch laptop taking all over the place. Tablets have evolved. It just cannot be the case that cars are not evolved and cars are still having these old age technologies, etc., etc. So we thought, why not build something like a Formula Student car just for our car normal consumers who are buying a new car, right? And with that thought, we built our first car product. And it was very simple. Again, we did not really started a car product thinking, let's connect each and every car of India to Carnot system. No, honestly, no. We just started it by saying, hey, let's build out the car telematic system. It worked fine for Formula Student, and we see obvious proof that people want it. Why don't we sell 10,000 kits in 1 year? That's all. And I think that was very specific target that we had, which helped us not get swayed out by what we heard from the market, what we heard from investor, and remain rock solid to what we were thinking, right? Uh, we sold 10,000 kits in 1 year. In the image that you see in the hand, that is a device. So this device basically used to just get plugged into a port in the car, which speaks with a lot of sensors within the car. And right on the right, you see the packaging. Again, you can see that it was done with all heart and passion, and we spent a lot of time to make sure that it looks good, it looks premium, etc. And this is how the app was to look like. So on the phone, if you connect this device that you see in the hand, the user gets something like this in his phone, right, where he sees everything that about his car or bike. He sees whether there is something wrong with the vehicle, and he sees a lot of insights about the driving, whether you are driving right, you are driving wrong. We tried to gamify it a little bit by giving scores to your driving, etc., etc. So it was a simple and fun app. I don't think it was any necessity kind of app. It was a luxury app where if you have money, rather than buying some useless accessories, why don't you invest in a digital technology that connects your car and takes care of its safety concerns? It was as simple as that. And this was the first product, and we got 10,000 devices. So why did we not continue with the car product though? At this point, I just want to mention that we did not continue with car product. We right now do not sell car product. We have stopped manufacturing it, and we have gone ahead, like we are just out of this space. Reason, I'll come to the reason when I come into the culture document, right? Because but one liner answer is, the car product was, as we tried to scale it from 10,000 to 100,000, we realized that tech and product are not at all the differentiators in this space, which will make my product unique. So simply put, if someone makes something similar to what you're seeing in these two screens, with lot less or lot not so good technology, or just by buying off the shelf hardware from China, they can still beat us, just because they have better operations, better pricing, better scale, better sales and distribution, etc. And that was not Carnot's strength. We did not do well in those things, neither do we intend to become great in those things in the short run, right? That's why we did not do and go ahead with car product. But something unique happened along the way, right? So here is a story of a small aha moment or innovation moment, right? Okay, so one day I was driving in my car, just testing out my Carnot device, and two things happened. I had my phone plugged onto the charging of my car system, so जो अपना normal USB होता है charger, right? And at the same time, I had my phone plugged into the aux of my audio system, aux cable के through audio system पे connected था. What happened is, every single time that I used to rev my engine, or do something weird with the electrical system of my car, I used to get a similar itching sound or some kind of noise in the audio system of my car as well, right? And that was intriguing. And what I basically did is, I recorded that battery, the charging profile coming on the vehicle battery as the vehicle is running, and literally translated it to MP3 file, because I sampled at 44 kilohertz. If people who might be aware, I sampled it at the same rate as MP3 file, and literally मतलब battery पे जो noise आ रहा है, electrical noise, उसको मैंने MP3 file में convert किया. And what we could achieve was, just like you analyze a MP3 file to understand what type of music it is, whether it's a rock genre or some other kind of song, what's the key frequency in this song, who probably is the singer of this song, etc. Doing similar analysis on that specific recorded music file led us to understand things like what is the engine's load, what is the engine's fuel efficiency, whether I'm flicking, whether I'm honking, whether I'm giving my indicator to turn left, turn right, or whether my parking lights are on, whether I'm blipping the headlight to overtake, etc. Which and by the way, this required nothing else except the battery voltage, right? And what happened is, because of this, now think of it this way, right? A car has 300 sensors. A modern car has all the data that I'm speaking about coming from sensors. I just need to read a sensor. But come to a space where there is a bike or a truck or a tractor involved, it's a mechanical giant thing, right? There is no goddamn sensor inside such vehicles, and you cannot ever read data from you need to install a sensor to get these kind of data. But because of the patent that we had, and this is the award for the same patent where we got a prize of $100,000 just for that patent, is a patent that allows us to get smart analytics of vehicles without any sensor present on the vehicle, right? So that was the aha moment, and that is when just like the car product, it opened doors for us for bike product, tractor product, etc., etc. Right. And then I'll call that moment as a pivotal moment. So, for example, this was 2017. I had started Carnot in 2015. First year was more or less team building or, just setting up the basic things. Second year, we sold 10,000 car devices. And 2017, Qualcomm happened. And I just want to mention that when Qualcomm happened, it wasn't a great place to be in. The Carnot, we had barely 6 months of runway left. We just had a cash to get going for 4 months. We did not have a very strong conviction about the car product at that time. We were not sure if car product makes sense for us to go about in the longer run. And at the same time, on the personal front, me, Rohan, both were getting engaged. We had our families planning our wedding in 1 or 2 years time, etc., etc. So it wasn't an easy thing as a founder, right? At that point, it was a do or die for us. And I'll say if Qualcomm hadn't happened, we would have been not surviving right now. So this was a do or die moment, which we kind of overcame with the kind of innovation we did. And what happened is after that, I think it was almost like a nudge or almost like a wake up call for us at Carnot to shape the things in certain way and take the company in the right direction. And from there started our journey, which is the phase 2 of the journey. So phase 2 was all about agri-tech. How it happened is, of course, when Qualcomm happened, it opened doors to Mahindra and as well as people like some OE companies in two-wheeler ecosystem. But after working closely with them for around 6 months, we realized that tractors industry is massive. There are a lot of problems that are not solved at all. And our technology just opens up door to solve all of them at very low cost. And we can genuinely create more revenue for the customers, for the tractor owners, etc. And that's where we decided, okay, let's not get left, right, center, north, east, west, sab kuch. Let's focus on one thing. Agri-tech is our DNA. Let's be a very good company in agri-tech, number one. Number two, we are going to be extremely good in tech and product and then good at everything else, but we need to get tech and product right. And number three, we understood that team building is extremely important, like as important as it can get. And we need to have right kind of culture, right kind of process, etc. Right? And as written, right, I never imagined me promoting culture, process, etc. to IIT Bombay students. Simply put, if I were one of you, मुझे लगेगा कि हाँ ये क्या पका रहा है, मतलब everyone speaks about culture, process, set करो, startup culture, etc. But honestly, it took me some time even after starting up to realize importance of these things, and these things make or break a startup. Simply put, after one point of survival, it's all about what kind of people you have, what kind of culture you have. It's nothing else, right? You need to have certain type of people and culture in place. Right, so that was from me to we, where then we scaled up the team. As things stands, we are around 60 people team. Jab Qualcomm hua tha, we were barely 10 people team. So of course there are the increase in number of teammates is result of increase in the business in a way. So our business has also increased 6 times from that point on, and we are now completely in the tractor industry, right? So in agri-tech industry. So coming to the agri-tech part, let me first talk about what we do in agri-tech. So I'll take example of the key product that we have, not all the products we have. So do you see this red little thing inside the tractor? Right. So this is a telematics device. So basically think of it like a device that has GPS and SIM card inside it. And it's just like another GPS tracking device for a tractor, right? So what's special in this? There are two things special. Number one, ये जो battery voltage वाला हमारा patent था, because of this, we do some extra analytics, which is gathered at the back end, which is helpful for the tractor company, for example, for Mahindra to understand. So Mahindra gets a lot of rich insights if customer installs this kit on their tractor. Number one. Number two, let me tell you about an interesting product market fit over here, right? So imagine a world where Ola and Uber exists. Ola and Uber का पूरा technology बन गया, but suddenly Google Maps stops showing you distance from place A to place B, right? In that case, you can imagine it's almost impossible to standardize billing, to standardize the way Uber and Ola is running, etc. Right? Because you cannot standardize what you charge your customer. As simple as that. Now come to the tractor industry. In tractor industry, the billing happens on the basis of the area of the farm, right? If you some of you might be coming from that background with your family in agri or in actual farming, etc. So when you give a tractor for rent, you get charged for what's the area of the farm. 2 acres tha, 3 acres tha, 2.5 tha, 2.6 tha, and right now it all happens on faith basis. So as to say, I have to trust the farmer when he says it's a 2.5 acre farm. I have no way to know whether it's 2.8 or 2.9. So what we did is just on the basis of the telematics, just on the basis of the telematics data that we get from the red device that you see, on the phone we show the farmer or we show the tractor owner how much area of the land it was once he finishes up his farming. And this uses combination of genuine artificial intelligence technologies and genuine machine learning algorithms. There are some patents that we have around for this algorithm, and right now in fact I see Samskar being part of one of the attendees who is working on one more deep learning model to improve the accuracy of this system. So that's where we are, and this is done at market disruptive price. This is done a similar system from any Western company will cost 25,000 rupees without these two innovations. We are selling it to the tractor owners right now at 6,000 rupees. So that's 1/4 of the cost for couple of added extra features. I won't say features, but I'll say a couple of extra added things that really directly increase the revenue of tractor owner, right? And coming from that, with the tractor product, we basically moved on to setting up the culture at Carnot, and basically we just have these answers, right? What you read in the slide, we have these things as one of the identities for the people that we hire, the people team that we build, etc. So I'll just point out the most important ones. As you see, we believe in generating revenue and not just valuation. So as to say, we had option to go with institutional investors at some point of time during our journey to raise a lot of money, to get our valuations very high, etc. And we would have got much better attention in media. We would have been much swanky and cool thing in the town. But honestly, one of the things we did stick to is we did not want to get along the valuation game. We rather wanted to build a profitable business right from the start, and that's what we still do. Second is deeply care about the impact we have on customers' lives. So I think in one of the learnings slide, I'll come on this. And third is we are hands-on. So for example, after being CTO and after having 5-year-old startup with 24 tech employees, I think I still enjoy taking up the most challenging coding work or the most challenging hands-on work. And by hands-on work, I do not necessarily mean coding, even if it means going on and doing something in the field. I still do it. For example, I am trying out a farm of 0.25 acres right now in Pune, just to know what farming is about. So basically, I just made friend with one farmer, genuine farmer, random guy from a village who I found out to be a good guy. And I am literally growing a 0.25 acre farm right now to just know ki kya problem aata hai, right? And we do make mistakes. I think Carnot has made a lot of mistakes. I have made a lot of mistakes, and I still do make them. Everyone makes them, but I think we do make a point to accept, learn, and move on. We do not like to have that toxic culture of talking about the mistakes. And most importantly, we have fun. I think I'm happy to say that most of the people who join Carnot never leave Carnot. It's only when we kind of ask them to move on for certain reasons, which again I'll talk about in the team wala part. But none of the people have really by themselves left Carnot more or less. So, and having having this tick mark for last 5 years for the core team, I think speaks for itself in the kind of culture that we have found. Right. Then coming to, so this is the story of Carnot so far. Basically, we started, again to recap, we started with my broken bench movement in IIT Bombay Racing. We built 10,000 IoT devices, the car tracking devices. We moved on and won a specific award for a patent that brought Mahindra in the picture as an investor for us. We pivoted to Agritech. From there on, we have sold, we have reached 50,000 IoT devices, mainly in the farming segment, in the tractor segment. And in the process, I learned very hard but bitter truths about the culture forming or the team forming. And there is certain way in which Carnot operates, which kind of is pivotal, or kind of the reason for the existence that Carnot has. Right? That's the story so far. So any questions at till this point? Apart from this, I have some learning slide which I wanted to share, but I'll just take a pause and check if any one of you have any doubt or want to know anything more about our story so far. See something in the chat. Is tech-based startup are difficult to start? Difficult to get fund in initial days? I think no. I think in fact a tech-based startup is more likely to get funds in initial days, because when you make a promise for valuing your company to a certain amount, that can be either through two ways, right? You make something very obvious, but you have mastered how to sell it. You have real numbers where you have, let's say X rupees worth of sell, and hence you are projecting your company to be valued at 4X. That's a very obvious thing, and that's how the standard businesses value themselves. Come to the tech product. In tech product, it is never about what X you have already generated. It's about promise of X that is obvious to perceive from the good use of that tech. So in fact, for a tech-based startup, it's rather easier to raise investment, especially with you guys coming with IIT Bombay Tech. I think it is easier if you have a tech innovation to raise funds compared to a general business. So that's my answer. Right. So okay. One more thing. Why didn't you complete by scaling up in the initial vehicle years? Yeah. So ठीक है, देखो मतलब ऐसा है कि in the vehicle device, right, we build the technology, we built everything. Now what was the best thing about what we built? I think it was A, the tech, because we built our own hardware, firmware, the cloud, etc. And it was B, the product, right? The way the app looks, or way the user interface is, etc., etc. But if you wanted to scale it from 10,000 to 100,000, we had to partner with, let's say, someone like ICICI Lombard, जिनका फंडा ऐसा था कि they used to sell a device with every insurance that they buy, or with every customer that they give premium insurance, etc. Now, the customers, finally the customers and the people in this ecosystem, the ICICI Lombards of the world, or even the end customers, really do not care if you are running a Linux for the firmware, or you are running a free RTOS for your firmware. All they want is getting their car tracked on their phone, as simple as that, right? And they do not really care if Fleetguard do not care about the user experience, and as such, he will never pay more premium for a premium product in this segment, is what we came to a conclusion. And that's why we thought that for scaling from 10,000 to 100,000 in the vehicle device for a category, we will need to make our device, basically we will need to build excellence in operations, that supply chain, sales, etc., and not in tech and product. And we were very clear within the founders that Carnot is supposed to be excellence in tech and product. So that's why we did not scale up the initial vehicle device. It was more because we believed in becoming excellent in something, and car product wasn't towards that direction. That's it. Right? For someone who is pursuing software dominated yeah, that's completely fair, Anirudh, and a really good question. Honestly, this is something that I wish someone had told me back in IIT, is how I answer it. But I'll honestly tell you a truth, right? Hardware में it's hard. मतलब no doubt that hardware POCs are difficult. Building a hardware is difficult, etc. But I'll go on and say that there is almost 99% chance that whatever hardware we are speaking about exists somewhere. There exists a product or there exists a company which is making exactly the same hardware that we are imagining. For example, in the OBD device, I'll find hundreds of such companies in China or hundreds of such company even in India. We just build that hardware with very basic things. Maybe it won't be as smart as I would like to be, or maybe it won't have all the features that I want to be, etc. And at this point, typically a mistake that people do is saying, hey, इनका company अच्छा है, but इनके hardware में Bluetooth नहीं है, they don't have X, they don't have towing alerts, etc., etc. So let's build our own hardware. And what happens is exactly the trap that you are referring to. By the time you actually build out hardware and prove the product market fit, you're already 8-9 months down the line compared to a software thing which can be done in 15 days, 20 days, or a month, right? What I will suggest is in hardware startup, if you do not, unless you have that conviction that with almost all smooth working hardware, it matters which hardware we use, or it matters what firmware we use, etc. Go and do a POC with something that already exists. Do not reinvent the wheel. Just pick something that is already there. Prove out. Go to 1,000 customers. Until you get to 1,000, you really do not need to worry about hardware mein bana raha hu ki nahi. Even if you don't do 4 things but only do 2 things, that's fine, right? But go and get 1,000 real world customers paying you for some kind of hardware with something that already exists in the market. And trust me, although it sounds like aise kaise hoga, you will find almost every hardware that we are referring to, or almost every hardware startup idea that I hear, 90% of them or 95% of them already have existing hardware somewhere. So it's a very smart thing if in the POC you do not build out the complete hardware from scratch, but rather take the off-the-shelf hardware and build a complete software stack yourselves for for controlling the product experience in a way, and prove out 1,000 equivalent POC. So yeah, that's my answer, and that's how you can get around this issue. Perfect. So I think I addressed all 3 issues. Thanks, Yash, Harsh, and Anirudh for specifically asking these doubts. Maybe I'll come to the second part in that case about my learnings. And my learnings are about 3 things. First is choosing your co-founders. Second is building the product market fit. And third is building the culture and team. What have I learned in this process, right? And let's start with the co-founders, right? So when I say, the first line is, it is like entering into a marriage. Yeah, I know it is like a very highly used term and thoda cliched, but trust me, that is true. Because, and now that I'm actually married, and my wife works at Carnot as well after she ditched one of the offers she had in US, and she came back to India as well. I actually know that it is like entering into a marriage, and there are some aspects you like about person, some aspects you don't. But if it's a marriage, you have to make it work, and you cannot be of the attitude of not making it work. You have to be of the attitude of making it work, right? But having said that, do not, unlike a marriage, don't just marry someone who you have dated for a long time, right? In a professional life, you need 4 things specifically coming to the intersection while choosing your co-founder, I feel. I think, of course, you should be happy hanging out with that person. So, if it's your hostel mate or wing mate who go to Lakshmi or Gullu a lot of times, of course, he's potential co-founder for you. But I think you should be also enjoying the professional time sharing with that person, right? You should also enjoy coding a similar project with him or her, right? You should find that person to be working extremely hard at your challenges, finding same excitement level as you. You should share a great mutual respect with that person. You cannot ever start up something with someone who you don't respect. Eventually there will be attitude problems and it will fall apart. And the most important thing is, I think when you talk about starting or forming a company or building a startup, your ideological similarities should be very high, right? What I mean is, let's say if you have a friend you do all technical competitions with, who you hang out in hostel, raat ko canteen, gullu, sab kuch hota hai. But if you ask that person what kind of company do you respect, like what kind of company do you imagine Carnot to be 5 years from now on, if he points to someone like a Flipkart, like which raising a Flipkart, or if Flipkart is too big, but someone who has been raising billions of dollars and is 5,000 people company, 10,000 people company, and if you have something else in mind, like for example you point at something like a WhatsApp, which is still a very valuable company, got acquired but just had around 1 crore revenue, that is very, very, very important to be on the same page. And if you start off with these differences, eventually you won't sustain as a co-founder founder pair. And we have had some co-founders who joined us for a while and then they left us just because of these ideological differences. And frankly, I'm very happy that we identified them at the very early stage. Right. And last and most important point is, even if they are your friends, you still need some kind of hierarchy with co-founders. So as to say, if I'm the CTO and my co-founder is CEO, both of us, let's say, have same equity, we still need to kind of understand that at the end of the day, we are running a company. We are not running a fun thing with friends kind of thing. So if needed, I still need to have certain hierarchy followed. So as to say, for example, when it comes to investor relations, it's not me but my CEO who represents Carnot, and it's not my job, or it's wrong of me to directly jump the queue and get involved with the investors. It has to be done through my CEO. At the same time, if it is about hiring tech team, etc., the CEO cannot be just independently hiring without me. He has to take me into the picture at some point of times, etc. But there has to be hierarchy. There has to be a clear distinction between who owns what. Don't be so informal about running a company, right? And I think a specific thing that I think worked very well for me, and I feel lucky to have such co-founders, is in general, now that I'm speaking with the audience which is from IIT Bombay, I feel you guys will do really well in intelligent quotient, right? Your IQ. We will be. What I mean by IQ is whether you solve seemingly difficult problems in the right way. Almost all, many of you, or well, in general, you will be doing far better than the average. You will have a high IQ. Everyone will have IQ. But when it comes to dealing with decision makings in a rational or emotionally stable way, you guys need to have a high EQ as well. That what I call as emotional quotient. I think in your life journey so far, college, school में top किया, 12th में अच्छे marks दिया, whatever, JEE में rank आया, इंस्टी में acads किया, कुछ तो crack मारा, ये किया. We do very high value to IQ in a way, but I think we underestimate EQ a big time. And I think a co-founder is not someone who just needs a high IQ. Of course, there needs to be certain threshold of the IQ, but the EQ has to be absolutely high. And I think this picture where Bob and Alice, Twitter, I had taken it from Twitter, is not my image, but basically this image kind of tells you what kind of co-founder you should choose. You should choose the right one over the left one, right? So if you look at it, the right one has high agency or high EQ, where he or she talks about how to overcome the obstacles and how to solve problems, rather than someone who keeps dragging things down by how can it not happen, and such trust me, this EQ thing, do read up about it, what is emotional quotient, how to find people with high EQ, etc. But do make sure that your team or co-founding team has right amount of IQ and EQ. I have seen a lot of examples of co-founding team which had immensely high IQ, which was impossible to believe that they will fail, etc. But they still failed because they had very low EQ. So that's my 2 cents about learnings about the co-founders, right? Coming to the product market fit, at this point again about co-founders, do you have any question about how to choose co-founders or anything? Sure. Shashank has asked, working in agriculture, we are facing difficulty getting the idea to develop faith of farmers. Currently, we have to first show that our service product will increase their produce and efficiency. For that, we have to wait till few of the customers get produce 6 months, right? Awesome. Perfect. So very neatly asked. And I think partially I have some answer to it in this slide, right? So product market fit. So when I think Shashank asked you asked this question, even for the tractor product, what you are seeing, we building out IoT device, which is now India's biggest agri IoT deployment, which we deployed more than 10,000 kits, etc., is the end output. But it wasn't an obvious problem to solve. We had fair share of problems as well, where the kind of people we met was very new for us. I have born and brought up in Mumbai. In fact, I studied in Marathi medium school, and then I had no relation with agriculture, etc., etc. So we basically shifted and stayed in Lucknow for 3 months. Very honestly, when we decided that we are doing agri-tech, first thing that we did is 8 of us, we shifted, we rented a 3 BHK flat, literally, as in literally pura boria bistar leke, we shifted and stayed in Lucknow. And we decided four regions, we divided UP in 4 regions. So all districts of UP were mapped to 2 people out of this 8 people team. The 8 people team was typically one product guy and one business guy kind of combination. And 8 of us basically went on a tour, like went on a road trip, so to say. Ki, there was series of sales events that were happening Mahindra के, जहाँ पे literally मतलब गांव में जाके tent लगा के they call people on loudspeaker and they basically try to sell the tractors. And we literally attended those events, and sometimes we hosted those events. And trust me, we had experiences where we saw people pulling guns out and shooting in the air because they were not fed enough, rasgullas. किसी के गांव के किसी की बेइज्जती हो गई तो पूरा गांव इवेंट से चला गया. Then we have had examples of people buying our product and then realizing that they don't even own a smartphone. So we have had all these moments, but I think the answer is time and energy. You cannot really, I cannot give you an instant answer for this without, answering without you going through the tough process. But the only thing I'll say is, if your product is the last point, right? A customer is source of what is a problem, but almost never a so good source of how it should be solved, right? That's your job. So, for example, if a customer is obviously telling you that me getting the fair price of produce after 6 months is a problem, your product solves it after, if your product solves it after 6 months, I'll buy it. If someone says this statement to you, please understand that only left part is for you, right part is almost surely not the way it should be solved. So for example, in your product, if the way your product or way your software or way your technology is built such that the customer only realizes the benefit after 6 months, then it is your fault, then it's a product fault. I think you should build the product in such a way that even on daily life basis or even on a weekly basis, daily basis, every time he opens the app, he has something to gain, right? He has something to get back from using that app. Either it's an emotional hook or it's a utility hook, it's a luxury hook. What that is kind of the product problem that you have to solve. But what you asked is specifically a product problem for which I'll say the reward has to be immediate on the product and it cannot be after 6 months. And in fact, this was a learning in our tractor product as well, where we realized that whatever we show, like area से farmer का income बढ़ता है and you see area in the tractor, etc., that happens only after he uses the tracking feature, only after he realizes how to track a tractor on his phone. उसके बाद ही ये सब हो सकता है कि he slowly understands how to increase revenue, etc. So we kind of spaced out our app in that way, right? We did not go and push 4 things at the tractor owners when we started. We started off with simple pitch कि ये लगाओ, आप you can track your driver at any point of time from your phone. Simple, that's it. Then we said, then people who still stayed back, we said, hey, by the way, let me show you how it can improve your income. Then we said, oh, by the way, we have this accounting feature which can replace your khata bahi. Then we said, oh, by the way, we can also provide you servicing with 1 click. But these are all the by the ways. Like the first thing that we offered wasn't set of 4 things. It was just one thing and one thing done very well. And I think that is one of the biggest learnings that I have from product market fit or from building a product out for tech. And that's my answer for your question. But yeah, and coming to the remaining points which I did not touch in this is customer pays you only for 2 things. I think A is he's already spending X and now you are doing it in 0.1x, 0.2x, etc. So of course, and it's a very obvious thing to realize, he can immediately pay you, right? For example, but he has to immediately realize this. For example, in your example, it's a classic example. After 6 months, he is probably getting X profit. Now you're making it 2x profit. But until that 6-month journey, you just have a promise, right? You do not, you need to save his time / Mindspace bandwidth for which he values you, or you need to make the gratification instant where he realizes the benefit instantly without waiting for 6 months. And lastly, because you guys are from Insti and from tech background, I think बहुत ज़्यादा great tech बनाने के पीछे लोग जाते हैं. मतलब people many times, like when we ask what is your product, right? It's a blah 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 AI, blah 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 machine learning, blah 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 is the kind of answer I many times hear from students when I interact IIT, just passing out student or just in the Insti student, etc. What I feel is that is wrong. That is very overvalued. If you if you see around, many of the products which are doing fantastically well in real life are often the products which are very simple to use. Like for example, WhatsApp. ठीक है, WhatsApp अभी now they do AI, they have lot of data things, they have got acquired by Facebook, blah blah blah, जो भी करते हैं. But when they started, they were just a simple messaging app, right? There was no bullshit about it. They did the messaging thing extremely well. They replaced your text SMS with a simple internet-based messaging. That's all, right? So do that one thing really well rather than doing 10 things. The WhatsApp did not probably start with image bhi share karte hai, video bhi share karte hai, groups bhi banate hai, etc etc. It was their product journey. Once they got enough customers, when they started getting enough traction, when they started realizing how they should do things, etc. But when you start off, don't do 10 things 90% right. Do one thing 99% right. And that's absolutely important. And I think that is one of the reasons that we are still surviving in agri-tech. Otherwise, almost all other corporate approaches that I see towards solving agri-tech in India are about doing 10 things right 80-90%, and none of it actually works out, right? And you are what you measure. So what I mean is, guys, you guys are engineers, you guys are supposed to be cream of nation for the analytics skill you have. So do not talk about something like, this product is great for my customer. Try to be very specific and quantifying things, etc. If you cannot come to that kind of statement, something similar to, I save 30% of I accrue 30% of income for a farmer with 4 months of usage of this app, something like this. Here is a proof. You cannot really build conviction on a product for the long term. You need to have measurable, quantifiable output, and that's engineering 101, right? You need to build systems. You need to build systems that you can measure before you build. So that's my learning on the product market fit, right? And at this point for product market fit, any other question? Awesome. So maybe I'll move on to the next part in that case, which is about team and culture. So I think let me do one thing. Literally, I'll open up a specific culture document that we share with teammates who join on the first day. So literally what you see right now is not something that I have taken up from Google. This thing is like my culture document in the startup, and the first thing or the first meeting for any full-time person that joins Carnot is introduction to these principles. And so basically we have certain way we run. You can see over here. Let's not get into specific of them, but point being, we have tried to narrow down to as specific as we can about what culture at Carnot is. What I'll say is this, right? Culture वगैरह क्यों important है? क्योंकि if you are a founder and if you are or even if you are a core team member, right? You are going to be average of your startup, and you personally are going to be average of people around you, right? And it's almost like what I think is startup is my baby, like Carnot is my and co-founder's baby, but the core team members are like the mentors and coaches that we have assigned to that baby, right? And if we don't get that mentors and coaches right, the baby is going to be screwed up, right? And I cannot get that baby grown up or raised in a certain way. And that's exactly how the relation is with founders, core team members, and the startup as an entity, is what I feel. And building a culture is right now, I think, the most satisfying education for me. I think not even JE or not even the IIT 4 years or not even any learning after that was as enriching or as eye-opening as this one. This one was probably the toughest one to learn, and I don't think this session can bring that across in any case. But just do understand that the kind of people you work with or kind of people you hire is going to define your life. So do make sure that if you do startup, get the people right, absolutely right. Otherwise, you cannot sustain. And for getting the people right, I think this simple x-axis analysis helps me big time. Where again, this is not my analysis, but this is something that we closely follow in Carnot. On the x-axis, you see talent, so you can see skill sets or IQ, etc. On the left axis, it's agency, so you can see the emotional quotient. You can say that is an emotional quotient. So what we generally try is, for the core team people, we try to hire game changers where we see a very high IQ and EQ. And even if we see people who are extremely high in IQ but very low in EQ, we do realize that after a while they become frustrated geniuses, right? The rightmost quadrant, and they in a way become a blockage for your growth rather than enablers for your growth. So what we do is we let those people go. but we rather invest in the go-getters who are less in talent or who are less in IQ but high in EQ, because IQ can be learned with n number of hours, right? For example, React.js you can learn in probably 30 hours. You can learn something how to build Android app in 50 hours, etc., etc., etc. Of course, it's a process, but if you have high EQ, I think we can convert go-getters into game changers, and that is something that as a founder I focus a lot of my energy on people management. I identify frustrated geniuses, let them go. I make game changers into core team people, and I try to get go-getters towards the game changers. So that's the three things that we keep doing. We never hire cogs in the wheel, and if we do, we should accept the mistake and let them go as well. Right, so that's simply XY axis analysis, which kind of explains everything that we do to build, or we kind of do to build the team and culture the certain way. Right, so at this point, any question about the team and culture? Okay, how do you measure if a product value if it is not possible to just build an MVP, because you have the best product of world need product? So best. Right, so I think again the way I'll put it is two things. Either you need to save his money. He's already spending X, and now you are kind of reducing that X to 0.1X. So a classic example is a startup called Sedemac, and it's one of the very respected startup, and something that I closely follow, because Professor Shashikant from IIT Bombay is the co-founder of that startup. But very, very simple and easy to understand version is basically they made a sensor. They made a sensor, or they made a control system which replaces a need for a specific sensor worth 100 rupee on a bike, and then their system is probably, let's say, 25 rupee. So their pitch to bike companies was very simple. Hey, you already spent 100 rupee in a manufacturing of a bike. Why don't you use this system, because this costs you 25? Here's a proof that it works. Right, so that is a one way of going about your MVP or validating your product. The second phase is indirect money, where it is kind of mind space, right? So for example, let me give you example of a very simple feature that we have in our tractor product, which really kicked in and which people are really loving to use. So that's a simple accounting feature, right? Or for that matter, let's take example of Khata Book, right? Khata Book is a famous startup which has 1 million plus downloads, and they are going crazy behind their market growth. And you must have seen some of these ads in IPL, etc., of Khata Book, and they're barely 2-3 years old, right? As in the growth that they have achieved is commendable. They're running the show a certain way. And let's think about why Khata Book is so popular and so viral, right? So Khata Book kya karta hai? Basically, if you look at their app, it's very, very, very simple. It's not complicated. What they do is build a simple app that acts like a simple accounting tool for a dukandar, right? For a small kirana shop guy. The reason they are successful is because the kirana guy was already maintaining a khata bahi, right? He was already spending daily 1 hour on maintaining khata bahi, calling people for reminding them for getting the money back, or they were doing all kind of calculators and calculations. They were hiring a chotu for making sure the calculations are in place, the money tallies, etc. And now Khata Book, what they did is they said, okay, why don't you just enter your entries in my app, and I will manage all of these calculations, all of these reminders for you. So that's not he was anyway getting his X rupees pehle bhi. Matlab, if he was getting 500, is he increasing his revenue by transactions? No. Khata Book is not enabling him to sell more product directly, right? He is still selling same number of sabun, same number of tikiya, same number of grain का जो भी है, मतलब किराना शॉप का revenue बढ़ा नहीं है. But initially he was spending 2 hours daily on something which now is automated to 15 minutes. So which is saving his 1 hour 45-minute worth of mind space or bandwidth. And for that, a customer can get hooked to the product, so much so that if done right, he can pay you money for it. Right, so that's how I think you can measure your product value. Either A, it needs to be how much money do I save for a spend that is already happening, or B, how much time or mind space worth of amount I save for the customer by the MVP. So that are the two ways by which I'll suggest you to approach the real world product. And you're right? You don't need to have a best product of the world to start with. You just need a proof that one of these two things happen. So I hope, Shashank, that answers your question. Can you please tell once how should we proceed if you're trying to make an app market research fit first, then customer segmentation? So if you have some insight of competition, right, I think you still need to have the right insight and not just some insight. For example, one insight is how does the, here is how the competitor ka app looks like and it's successful. That is one proof, right? But the second proof is just going and speaking with using that product. For example, the first thing is using the competition product as a customer for N days, or if you yourself aren't of that segment, making good friends with someone who is a promoter of that app, right? मतलब don't make friends with people जो बोलते कि हाँ हाँ कंप्यूटर का प्रोडक्ट अच्छा नहीं है आपका अच्छा है. In fact, become friends with someone who is saying कि hey, computer product is very good, because that guy will tell you 10 things to learn which you will not learn from anywhere else, right? For example, if you're making accounting, let's say Khata Book competitor, become goddamn good friends with 10 dukandars which are daily using Khata Book, because they'll exactly point you why Khata Book is so wow for them, and that will teach you how should you approach your problem. And when you say market research, customer segment research, I think I'll take a step back and I'll say ki, basically when you in a traditional education, right, I know that this is taught in this way, right, where you do your market research, customer segmenting, customer persona, etc. What I suggest is, but this may not be valid for a startup, right? Especially for you guys out of insti and सीधा तुम कुछ start कर रहे हो. Maybe you can just use common sense, right? You can just build something very small and always keep a very close tight feedback loop and that's on that small thing. So for example, if competition product has 10 things, you can at least understand 2 or 3 things really well and build a product that just does these 2-3 things, for example. And once you get insights from those 2-3 things, you move on to 4th, 5th, 6th, or you scrap 1 to 3, right? That kind of thing. So I think at this point, instead of giving you fun day about traditional or education point of view, say kaise karna hai customer segment research, etc. I think use your common sense, become extremely good friends with either your customer or a of course your customer, and B your competitor's customer, to understand why they are valuable to the people who love it. Yeah. So that, yeah. How can we get the insight? Why is this before? Yeah, again, to get that insight, you have to understand how it saves money or mind space for the customer, which is potentially you think is going to pay for this. In case you have a competition, it's an easier problem, because for a competition product already out there, you just need to find people who are paying your competitors and understand why do they pay. But if it is a path breaking first thing in the market, it's of course a difficult journey where you have to go through steps and you have to kind of first form the audience of people who can pay for you, etc. But I suspect we are talking of the first case in 99% of the times. So again, for getting that insight, don't build your product. First become a great customers of that product, of whatever you are trying to build, a competition product ho ya similar product ho ya feature ho, it can be in some feature, it can be present in some other app. Become a great customer of that product first. Only then you can see the problem solving, or you can see the value from a customer's lens. It cannot be it's very difficult to find that value through like कुछ तो बात कर लिया, सर्वे कर लिए, कुछ तो रिसर्च थीम रख दिया, etc etc. That is little, I honestly don't see these things working like this. So yeah, perfect. So I think I'm just coming to the last slide. It's my general learnings, and after that I'll again come to the Q&A as well, and you guys can just ask questions on audio as well. I'm just checking the chat box because I keep seeing notifications for those things. But my learnings generally are this: don't get swayed by random success stories. In IIT, at least मेरे time पे कैसे था? I was in 2013 batch and startups were on the rise that time, with housing.com raising a lot of funds and doing a whole lot of things to literally hire an entire batch practically. But what I thought is, at that point, literally there were around 70-80 startups around Carnot. Like around the same time we started, there were 70-80 startups we started, and right now I think only 4 or 5 of them are barely surviving. And the reason is because most of these startups started by the shiny stories behind fundraise and shiny stories of how startup is valued at XYZ $1 million, etc. But what I suggest is you guys right now from Insti, yeah, very, well, it's very good to get inspired by success stories of startups. But I think be very attentive to failure stories, right? Failure story is not necessarily a failure for you or as a even for a founder for that matter. Like people, there are brave people who have fought hard but failed, but their battles teach you a lot of things from the small wars that they have won along the way. So there is 10x more lessons to be learned from failure stories. Please be more attentive towards them. Please learn about why specific startup shut down, why specific startup did not work certain way, etc. And in fact, I liked one of the questions when someone asked me why you stopped the car product, and I think that's a brilliant question to ask, right? सिलेट डू नॉट अंडर वैल्यू रेवेन्यू एंड प्रॉफिट्स. मतलब IIT में थोड़ा ऐसा होता है कि हम ऐप बनाएंगे, 1 लाख डाउनलोड करेंगे लोग, न्यूज़ का ऐप होगा एटसेट्रा. बट फाइनली व्हाट इज अ स्टार्टअप? स्टार्टअप इज अ मैकेनिज्म टू where investor, मतलब एकदम simply put, if an investor is putting money in you, that's because he wants lot more money in return, right? And that can never happen unless you talk about numbers, revenues and profits. So थोड़ा मतलब मुझे इंस्टी में ऐसे लगता है कि पीपल थिंक ऑफ समटाइम, आई डोंट नो नाउ, एटलीस्ट इन माय टाइम स्टार्टअप यूज्ड टू बी लुक्ड अपॉन लाइक एज अ इनोवेशन सेंटर. थोड़ा कि लोग आते हैं, ऐप बना रहे हैं कुछ, तो बहुत सारा पैसा बर्न करके यूजर्स को डाउनलोड करा रहे हैं, बट दैट्स अबाउट इट. उसके बाद क्या करना है, नो आइडिया. So don't become that way. Do start a startup only with certain business perspective in mind, and make sure that in your team there is always one guy who has great aptitude or get great liking for revenues and profits. Right. The third thing is similar to what I answered in Q&A. Start small, stay grounded, understand the bitter truth behind your magic ideas as early as possible. You think that it is beneficial for farmer, example, blah blah blah. Don't realize it after 6 months. Right. Start very small. Do something that you can realize in 15 days, 20 days. And I think it's always good to understand it doesn't work or what doesn't work, rather than just going gaga about a specific thing that works. So please, do not waste your time in just focusing on what works. Understand what doesn't work so that you can get rid of them very quickly. And most of the successes are not necessarily due to choices of selection, but most likely because of choices of eliminations. So understand those eliminations really well. Right? Again, don't try to somehow do well in everything. Do one thing really well. In fact, there is a book called as One Thing, which I suggest you guys to read. There are 2 books, in fact, One Thing and Essentialism. They are like my go-to books. Don't want to sound like Funded Dene Wala Senior, but I don't read like lot of books aisa kuch, but these 2 books are really been my guiding light whenever I feel like how to go about things, right? Lastly, fundraise is not a promise made, but not a promise delivered, but it's more like a promise made. So even if you do celebrate and there are news coming out when fundraise happens, etc., it's not the end of a race. In fact, it's start of a marathon, because someone showed a promise in a sprint. Is how I'll put it. So don't glorify wrong things. For example, you guys know how things are about placement and everything in IIT. So fundraise is just about promise made and not about promise delivered. So generally be great listeners and ask a lot of fundamental one-on-one questions even in the real world. I think in the real world, right? अभी तक तुम लोग ने बहुत ऐसे डिफाइंड प्रॉब्लम क्रैक किए हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल जेई, एकेट्स एग्जाम्स, इसमें थोड़ा डिफाइंड प्रॉब्लम था, राइट? कि मतलब फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स का पेपर आएगा सर्टेन सिलेबस से, एंड उसमें यू हैव टू बी इन टॉप 2000 ऑफ द कंट्री टू गेट इनटू आईआईटी बॉम्बे. बट इन रियल वर्ल्ड ये डिफाइंड कहीं होगा नहीं. मतलब ऑलमोस्ट नेवर यू विल गेट सम सर्टेन डिफाइंड प्रॉब्लम. You have to figure out इनमें कैसे navigate करके खुद को successful करना है. तो please be ready for real world and be realistic about what you have as a dream or aspiration about you. Don't just say कि हाँ अभी तक मैं IIT में आया, अभी तक मैंने अच्छा किया, CATS में आया, मैं 10 point पर 9 point पर, so I'll do well. Please, मतलब don't do that. Many people in my, मतलब it was very natural for us to think like this because we get very exposed to defined problem solving, but please welcome undefined problem solving and become good at it. And keep things simple. Be great listeners with JEE like attitude. कि JEE में ऐसे था, राइट, कि कुछ चमका तो चमकता था. मतलब if you understand something in physics, you understand something in physics. There are no two ways about it, right? And I still love that feeling of JEE वाला time. And many times in startup, अभी भी जब मुझे stupid doubt आता है, I try to ask questions till a point where I get JEE वाला comfort level, and that has worked well with me really well. and be confident. IIT Bombay is literally a place where you have stayed with some of the brilliant minds. I still sometimes feel like just taking a break and going back to insta days and stay in a hostel for a while, etc. So be extremely confident in real world, right? You already have a tag, you have a backup, you have a college, or you have insti backing you. uh, your life cannot be the most challenging life out there, honestly, as in there are people who have much tougher situations and overcome much tougher problems than what you will do after your IIT tag. So in fact, use it for getting a right attitude in your mind, and when IIT Bombay pushes you after graduation to the real world, when you take the plunge, fly off with right attitude and use those wings, right? Don't be shy, and don't have wrong attitude to go in a wrong direction. Please make sure that we do something great for the community and country, right? So that's about it. So at this point, I think I'll just stop for Q&A and before concluding this session. So Tejas, if you have any time constraint specifically, nudge me when we are overshooting, or else I'll just take up the Q&A till we have time.
Yeah, I don't think there is an issue. Just
Say it.
if anyone has any question, please ask by unmuting. Like if you unmute and then ask, it will come in the recording also, so it will be better.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, so Dinesh, hi, can you unmute? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so Dinesh, you are asking how can we protect our idea if we are participating in some competitions or sharing with others to get the teammates, right? So
Yeah.
I think ideas, let's typically get an example, right? Ideas can be of the two types. One is fundamentally patentable thing, or fundamental IP or a specific algorithm, let's say, which doesn't exist anywhere else. And if someone, and it is, for sure that is the difference between product existing and not existing. Other thing is just idea, right? Just is a app that looks like this, feels like this, blah blah blah, right? So for the second thing, I feel don't be so scared. Don't be so scared कि किसी को पता चलेगा. If ideas were equal to execution, I think execution is 100 times difficult than idea. Ideas can come from anywhere. There are people who have great ideas, etc. But if you can't get the execution right, the idea is not worth anything. Many times IIT के अब मुझे भी ऐसे लगता था कि हाँ मतलब ये कुछ तो ऐसा ग्रेट आइडिया है बट मैं पब्लिश कर दूंगा तो देन एवरीवन विल नो अबाउट इट. या मतलब इट वाज अ वेरी नेचुरल थिंग टू थिंक अबाउट आइडियाज एक्सपोज करना. आई फील if you are so scared that idea किसी को पता चला तो problem होगा. Anyway, when you take a plunge and actually start it up, it's matter of 10 to 20 days for someone to understand this, right? It's matter of just time for someone to realize this. At this point, what you should really be asking yourself is, okay, this is the idea. Anyway, can I find right people so that I can get the execution of this idea extremely well? And you don't worry about किसी को पता चला तो क्या. And if you feel it is like groundbreaking and something that doesn't exist, there are enough resources in IIT which can guide you for provisional patents and publications, patents, etc. You can go via that route, but I believe just for the product ideas, I don't think there is any point in keeping it secret. So after that, Anirudh, or I think Yash has the second book. Someone asked about the second book. It is called Essentialism. So I'll just type it out. So that's the second book. Then I think Anirudh or Shashank, one of you ask a question. Can someone unmute and ask, please? Shashank, I think you have asked, and Amit, I answered your question. Yeah, Shashank, go on.
So currently we are a team of 2, and we had a technical friend of ours who was working with us, but because in some days he realized that startup is not his cup of tea, because he wants to do a risk-free business like a job. So also because tech people at IITB or anywhere around get a quite risk-free, high salary job. And other things that needs to be concerned, even if we approach a person, he might not be having the same insight of maybe the solution or problem statement, or might not be interested. And second thing is that we don't know our work ethics, how our working will be. So for that, we are trying to involve in competitions before we team up. But it has also been difficult to find people who are really passionate about a startup, because if after a month or two they just leave, then it becomes really difficult to start all over again.
I agree, and I agree, and I think I sympathize with your situation. But I think there is no easy answer to this. I feel startup में जो मतलब startup is about idea and people, right? So even if you have the idea and you have built something, but you have not really figured out the second problem, I think you haven't really started up. Is how I'll say. And what I suggest is co-founders may at least you should not think about I'm doing a startup unless you pretty darn sure know that your co-founders are with you and all of them are in it, right? Until then you are just trying out something. You are not really starting up. So I think what you're doing is fantastic. It's a process that you have to go through. It's a difficult thing that you have to go through. But until you come to an answer where you find a person who is as passionate as solving that problem as probably you are, and also willing to take a plunge, I think you will need to keep finding your answers. There is no easy way to go about it. In my case, at least, I started with people I know and I had worked very closely with, and I know what kind of work ethics they had or what kind of aspirations they had about their life, etc. And I also made sure that they are at right stage in their life to take a plunge, etc. Where for example, find the tech guy in my team or I myself, I'm not really concerned about salary that I'm missing out on by not joining another company, etc., etc. So these aspirations, inspirations, and ideas have to come together. Only then this can happen, and it is a long, time-consuming process. But do spend time in this process and find your answers rather than there is no easy way out. You have to go through the grind to find out this answer. But unless you have this tech to co-founder layer sorted out, etc., it's not really a startup at all.
Also, I have to ask one more question. Like, we are trying to make an app, but me and my teammate have never done something which like making an app. So we do not have insights or expert skills in that, like in coding especially. So we have done some courses of ML, but we are not expert in that field. And if our product is app, like it mainly is about coding only. So how should we go about? Should we ensure that at least one of our member is really an expert in making an app, or should we take even a member if he is just interested in this and we should go with him?
Sure. So there are, there are two possibilities in the business that you are trying to form, right? One possibility is, that your product is very simple, the tech is very simple, and then everything is about your marketing, sales, operations, strategy, blah, blah, blah. The second case is no, the product and tech is the make or break thing. Without it, I cannot, rest of the things do not matter. So it again comes down to the DNA question where you have to answer if you want to only pick one or two things to become very great in your startup's early stage or first couple of years, etc. Is product and tech one of them? Right? There can be two answers. Answer one can be yes, absolutely, we cannot survive without a product and tech. Answer B can be, hey, product tech doesn't matter. Actually getting the business, getting right B2B partnerships, getting right kind of partners onboarded and paying you matters more. So I need sales excellence, for example. So in second case, I think in first case, you need to have a co-founding layer, which has taken product. In the second case, you don't. It's as simple as that. And at the same time, again, do not try to become good in everything at one go. Choose one of these two paths very carefully, and this more or less defines the way your company will shape up.
Hi Pushkar, am I audible? Yeah. It's Harsh. I'm in second year actually in BTech. So we have a team of 4 students right now, and like we really are kind of like, you say, geniuses. I can say that, maybe judging by our ranks and all that, but we really don't know if we are having a good EQ or not. So like in that context, so I wanted to say that actually like we first had a project that we thought could yield up into a startup. Then we thought, okay, maybe our skill set right now is not as good as we would want it to be. to actually build a prototype out of it. So we then pitch to a simpler product. And like sometime when we are discussing, we get this this feeling like as if we are trying to do a startup only for the sake of doing a startup, you know. This eagerness since from the second year, like everybody is like most of the people surrounding you are talking about it. And like this one guy this year started a company, like, but it is quite simple. It is just like an agency. There isn't even the tech part in it. They are just taking calls and, you know. So how can we find that like this eagerness to do things? Like how can we find it if we really wanted to do something in it, or should we wait for like getting our skills around and getting more skilled up?
Right. So I'll say skills wala point hai na, that I'll say I think that's just matter of time to be invested in learning skills, right? For example, if it's about building servers, if you guys can, one of you guys can get internship in cloud development and learn how to build cloud, or you guys can just do some online course to build cloud, etc. So I don't overvalue these things, right? Skills can be learned, especially if kind of team you're talking about, second year IIT Bombay students, in general IIT Bombay students with good JEE ranks, etc., or even with any JEE ranks for that matter. If you guys have exposure to kind of infra IIT Bombay provides, I think skills to ho jayenge. Matlab, that is just you guys should trust each other to say ki theek hai, even if I don't have those skills now, 2 months from now I will have those skills, right? What will really matter is I think the reason that you guys are starting up. So what is driving your thing? For example, me, Rohan and Prathamesh, the 3 co-founders, we had this broken bench movement, right, which I starting when I described it, where I really felt bad about, or embarrassed for that matter, that our car was so inferior to the cars that I'm seeing from European colleges, etc. So you guys need to have some kind of that emotional connect within the co-founding layers, right? 4 of you students start up just because we enjoy spending time with each other. That will only last for some time. But I think what will you see whether you will start respecting yourself more if you solve this product problem, and whether 4 of you think like this matters a lot. And you guys should all maybe sit down sometime and probably just do a whiteboard session about what kind of company you feel this can become after 4 years. And you guys don't need to invent kya kare. You guys can just find out some kind of startups online and try to find out their revenue numbers, their customer numbers, their main important metrics, etc. And say, okay, here is what I feel is what something that will make me really proud if our startup or our idea shapes up this way. If you guys have alignment about that specific discussion at the end of the day, then only I think it makes sense to go ahead and continue your startup journey. Otherwise, I'll say it's just another college idea. So do that brainstorming discussion. Do not overvalue skills. Skills can be learned, and be patient, right? You are still in second year. You can chill out. Like you have 2 years to figure out everything in the background. You don't need to be people just out of college like Mark Zuckerberg ki Facebook form kar liya. You really don't need to be, and don't try to overfit it, right? Be patient, learn things the smart way, not necessarily the hard way, and be extremely aligned about the emotional outcome of yours, what success you are imagining by doing that activity. Only once you have that emotional alignment going on, then you guys can carry on in tough times as well.
So yeah, I had a question on similar lines, like what is the correct time? Like suppose I'm working now on some project in the institute, and I want to take this project to a startup. So as of now also maybe I can convert it into a startup and then start working in a startup rather than in a project. So what is the correct time, like in the institute or after the institute, or or what stage of the product should I convert it? Like when you started up, I don't think did you have a product already ready, or you work for next few months and then the product, so that's
so maybe I'll take up my my specific journey as first answer, and then second partner I'll take up the specific of at what time should I start up ka answer, and of course I am not an expert at all of this, and it's just my personal experience has shaped up in a certain way that is making me answer in this way. So let this be more like opinion more than guidelines when I'm answering these questions. Okay? So first part, I passed out in 2013. I got placed in Schlumberger, which is like a oil field engineering company. I had no idea what it is, frankly. I joined there. I stayed there for 6 odd months, but then I realized that it's high paying, it's challenging, it's good, everything is good, but it's very different than what I imagine as a emotional satisfaction for myself. If I think of Pushkar Limaye after 4 years, he doesn't certainly work in Schlumberger or he doesn't fit in Schlumberger after 4 years for sure. So why am I spending time here? Is the way I asked myself, and I basically quit Schlumberger just after 6 months after joining. And what I did, I think what really helped me is I joined a startup called Leaf Technologies, which is like a Sequoia funded home automation startup tha. And I joined as a firmware lead over there, so to say, and it was kind of like one of the very few very early employees over there. And I can be honest in saying that it wasn't a great experience, but it kind of taught me everything that should not be done in a certain way. And matlab that startup also shut down after some time, and Slash got actually hired by some another startup, etc. But I spent 2 years over. I spent almost 1.5 year over there to understand what should not be done in a startup. May it be execution of the idea, may it be co-founding team, or may it be the culture, etc., that is formed in a startup. And only after that, basically, I got fair idea कि ठीक है, ये ऐसे चीजें नहीं करनी. Certainly, I have some ideas now about how I should go about changing my idea into business. Only then I kind of decided to start up. And decided to start up, there are two parts, right? One is quitting my job and doing the initial hard work, and second is taking a complete plunge and asking investors for the money for my idea, right? So for the first part, it's very easy, right? Until you don't have investor coming in and giving you money, you don't have obligation of anyone, right? It's you and your startup. There's no one else in between. So we made sure that before we raised investment from external investors, we had a product ready, we had a few early customers, we had a proof of concept, we had everything running, and we just knew why we exactly need money now to scale this idea from first 10 products to, let's say, 10,000 products. So I'll say, you need to definitely, I feel you definitely need to have a product validation or internal validation that this works before you raise your investment, but not before that. Before that, it's still a startup, but it's just you owning 100% of your company without any obligation. So you have freedom to try out as many things as possible, right? And coming to the second point, what I feel is the right time, I'll put it in a statistical way, right? You guys are from IIT, you guys understand statistics. So there is a bell-shaped curve, right? A classic Gaussian curve, which is like a inverted, which is like a bell, and the right side of the bell has the x-axis is probability basically, and x-axis, let's say, is timeline, and y-axis is probability, right? So there are going to be certain times after which, a certain time or events in your life after which, if you start up, the probability of success is high. The average probability of success is high, right? For example, if you have worked in industry for 4 years, or if you have worked in a similar space for 2-3 years after IIT and then started up, of course you have high probability, right? Versus if you are just a student, you have no idea how to build things, how to build team, how to raise money, etc. You still can do it, but you have less probability of doing it. So I think it depends on your aptitude to take risk. There is no right time, or there is no time in which you will definitely succeed. It's all about the probability of your bell-shaped curve getting adjusted to some value. And after that, it's all about your execution. So but having said that, what I will suggest is at least you guys do a lot of internships, you guys do a lot of summer intern, winter intern, in semester intern, ye chalta rehta, right? So please go and work in an early stage startup which is struggling, or which is just becoming big. Don't as in, rather than working in a startup which has already raised a lot of money and doing well and कुछ problems ही नहीं है, rather go and work in a startup जहाँ पे problems है, and see what kind of problems they have, how do they solve it, what kind of struggle they have, etc. And that will teach you massive things than anything else. So that's my 2 cents. Definitely build a product before you raise money from external world. And B, there is no right time to when to start up kind of thing. But as a student, I'll advise you guys to go and work in a startup to get a fair idea of where you stand in the bell-shaped curve.
Okay, and one more question is, how does our the financial status of the founders affect? Like, does it matter towards a decision of starting up, or or after starting up, how is in general the
it does matter. And again, over there, what really helped was emotional connect between the co-founders on this aspect. So let me give you my personal example, right? As in our personal example, within three of our co-founders, there was one of us who had his family depend on his income, as in his parents were little, they were both retired, and now he was like the main, income source in the family. So what we had as an agreement between three of us is that he will get paid right from the beginning, of course, against he took some hit in the equity part, so we basically had more equity on our side and less equity on his side, etc. But that was against the promise that until the time we can pay full scale salary to everyone, at least that co-founder gets some payment one way or other. Of course, it wasn't matching to industry or anything, but two of us had put down some money to allow him to draw salary until the time we get investment from outside world, etc. But that was an emotional moment, and because we three of us were equilibrium in the way that we want to build a company, and the way we look at the emotional quotient side of things or the win side of things, I think this helped to make decision very easy. Secondly, as a founder, if I'm worried about salary, right, effectively to an investor, I'm sending a signal that I do not really value the equity, right? For example, if my startup is just hypothetically, if my startup is valued at if my equity in my startup is valued at 5 crores, let's say, and I'm worried that I'm still drawing, let's say, 8 lakh salary against 15 lakh salary which I can get right out of Insti as a coach. So then that really translates to, hey, your expected first case mein your expected outcome is 15 lakh into 1 because your probability of getting money is 1. Second case mein it is 8 lakh into 1 plus 5 crore into some factor. And उसका मतलब ऐसा हुआ कि तेरा 5 crore into some factor you are considering so low that it's not even matching 7 lakh. And that's an indication to an investor that the valuation is fuzzy and you are just making the valuation high for the sake of raising money, not because you really believe in it. And that is how I think you should, as a founder, justify your salary or your financial decisions, etc. And lastly but not the least, I think right now you guys are out of college, you don't have any obligations, many of you will be having your parents doing well off, but there will come a point in 4 or 5 years where you will start feeling financially not being stable or not doing so well, etc. So again, for that, when you start up, right, three of us had done a great thing where me, Prathamesh, and Rohan had basically said that after 5 years we don't want any strings attached between three of us. So after 5 years, let's again sit down. Here is what we want to achieve in 5 years, but at the end of 5 years, if any of us wants to leave, we can leave. That kind of agreement, right? Of course, it wasn't like random, and we had basic trust in each other that it won't be a random decision कि 5 साल बाद ऐसे छोड़ दिया टाइप. But literally after 5 years end हुए, we basically sat down and decided, okay, 5 years हो गए, now what? Like now what? Like, are we happy? Are we enjoying this? Why are we not enjoying it? Why are we enjoying it? How can we make the next years fun? Is it tolerable enough to continue? And only when the answer was yes, 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 or we kind of aligned the answers to yes, then we carried on to our journey. So I feel do take such breaks between the co-founding team every year or every n number of years ke baad, and have a no strings attached conversation kind of moment. But that will take care of your financial decisions as well, because that will decide the way you are shaping the investment, shaping the profits, etc.
Yeah, thank you.
So Pawan and Anirudh, thanks for your comments. Really helps to get such feedback from people like you. Honestly, I was little not sure about how it will go out, and I hope you guys had good learning, right? As in, if it wasn't, apologies, but again, this is another. I'm an entrepreneur, so I should not be worried about these things and rather take them head on. So I tried doing my best to give my honest version across to you. And finally, as I said, like in the beginning, I said we are there to fix a broken bench. And I also now see, I see a world where the Indian farm scene is quite smart, and many of them getting affected by something that I built to directly increase their income. No bullshit, just build something that increases farmers' income. I'm trying to do so and fix a small broken bench in the huge number of things or huge scheme of things. And let's see if it goes that way, right? And that is my last concluding remark on this one.
Yeah, I guess if there are no more questions, let me thank
absolutely.
Pushkar for joining today and sharing the experience. Like it was really wonderful. Like I personally learned a lot than any other sessions, like the session on customer discovery, or so whole lot of like it was the first hand experience as how the things in reality are. And so thanks for your time, Pushkar.
Absolutely, thanks a lot. And you guys, any of you guys are starting up, want any help, please feel free to reach out to me as a Insti alumni. I'll try my best to help you guys out. And if in fact you want to get a flavor of working in a startup, we have a lot of challenges to solve. Even for that, more than happy to see how we can work together. In fact, there are a couple of really bright students, bright minds working with us right now in Carnot from Insti. So, and I always love working with people from Insti. So more than happy if we can collaborate in that way in future as well.
Hello, can I ask one last question?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so right now are you mostly concentrated in the TUP region, or have you gone pan-India? Like
we have gone pan-India now. So now basically what again we focus on tech, not on sales distribution. So UP में भी कैसा है कि we sell to tractor dealerships and then they sell to farmers. So that model allows us to be platform agnostic, region agnostic. So now we started with UP because we wanted to very specifically understand the heart of MP UP belt, because that is a farming rich belt, etc. But now we are soon going pan India, and as we speak, we are deploying next 10,000 kits across 4 different states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Maharashtra.
So like as you are reaching out to different regions, the culture or the problems or the conditions of the soil and other things changes, and like you can see the that patent, like the working of the engines will also change. So are you just adjusting to that condition, or like our farmers can also change, like the mindset of the farmers change also?
No. I think the farmer won't appreciate you if you are showing him a 99% brilliant thing which is not giving him any income increase. So what we have done is, even in the tractor product or agri product we build, we first build it in such a way that it doesn't matter which region is. If there are 10 features, out of which there are 3 region agnostic features, we focus on those 3 first and got those 3 really well first. Only when people started loving these 3, we kind of narrowed down our decisions of whether the 4th one should be for Haryana, or whether 4th one should be for Karnataka customers. How should we go about it? How do I make sure my tech handles a distinction between a Haryana login and Karnataka login, blah blah blah. But I think we first got, so far I think I'm just on these first 3 things which work for everyone regardless of such complexities, and that really helped us remain focused and crack the product. Yeah, perfect. So I think with this, I will, I'll conclude the session formally. And again, guys, thanks a lot for attending and giving, so much time. It's almost 1 hour, 43 minutes worth of session, and really loved interacting with you. I wish there was COVID-19 wasn't there. We could have interacted in person. That would have been a lot more fun to come back to Insti, etc. But in any case, thank you, and great pleasure talking with you all. And thanks specifically Tejas for hosting this session really well and coordinating it over email so well.
Oh, thank you, Pushkar. So yeah, let's end the meet. Yeah, thank you again for coming.
All right, thanks everyone. Goodbye.